played, the one SANHOK game that they played in the opening weekend, they won it. So can it happen in the super final weekend?
The other SANHOK game was won by Orange Rock. You know what? Some big stonker teams taking big stonker wins on big stonker maps known as SANHOK, but here we go. Boys and girls, it's gonna be SANHOK time. We're gonna be going straight into the jungle and seeing how things are gonna be panning over on this one. Reject Scarlet gonna be going for Cal for themselves. And Box, you know, they like going a little bit out of their way to be alone, just like you do. And that's why both of these teams will be going for the Eastern Coastal Line.
Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. We got everything you want. But do you know the name? And I think if we do know the name is definitely Yudu Gank leading into this fourth game. But a phase one circle max, it occupies mainland, north, west island, southwest island. It's actually, in my eyes, a very tricky phase one.
Very tricky. I think that's like the nicest circle almost.
Okay.
It's a very nice circle, you know what? Not too much water involved. And one thing I'm going to, well, actually, you know what? We're going to fix around a fight right away. That's going to be Megastars versus Bigatron. As Ryzen taking already a little bit of damage for himself. Microboy going to be the first line of defense. Gets the initial knockdown onto Onkar. Won't be able to find the flash just yet as he crawls his way out of the door. But Microboy at this point being so low HP, he's going for the push. That's so aggressive, but yeah, it pays off. Imperium, he gets 2 knockdowns solo.
Oh my god, Ryzen just rising up in the early parts of this SANHOK game to get 2 knockdowns. Vexy's knockdown on core is confirmed, and now the AKM shots from Microboy. It doesn't really matter if he's low on health or not, he just doesn't really care. And now Luxy comes in with the UMP, whatever you call it, it's gotten the job done for BTR. Megastars find themselves down to just 1 player within 2 minutes of this game.
Called it UMP. I'm like a proud dad right now. Feels good. Imperium said UMP.
I'm learning, Dad. I'm learning, Dad.
It's good. Definitely, that was a really nice fight from Bigatron. Microboy, despite the fact that he also had no meds, he's like, he just had nothing to lose. He knew he had to go for the aggressive play. He went for the aggressive push, and he just got a nice double knockdown for himself. And then Luxy came over from the other side of the road. That was tricky, but because he got 2 knockdowns, Megastars had really no way to shut down the rotation coming out from Luxy, and then they got the initial knockdown after that.
So true. Now we see Pai Nan, Kyle Harris's favorite place to drop. Makes it accessible, and for this kind of circle, Pai Nan is a very accessible place to drop, but of course, with 2 teams fighting out in that area, it's not going to be accessible until you wipe out the opposing team. Synergy and RRQ getting close to each other. They're pretty much both on the same side of Pai Nan. You do have 1 member of RRQ on the left side of Pai Nan, which could provide an extra level of cover for RRQ and the rest of the teammates.
I was able to talk with one of the big boys at Synergy, and they were saying that they were feeling really confident going into today. Didn't really show off in the first 3 games, just a little bit like TSM Entertainment in a way. So hopefully they'll be able to get some good results in the next 2 games, and also in the next 2 days coming out tomorrow and also on Sunday. But Austin, Box, and Servi both locked in place. No way for them to move away because the high ground is held by G9, and you know he's not going to allow anyone to rotate away from this. And also, Synergy, have they looted up any smokes, any utility to move away from that location? Because they have taken a fight so early on, they might have not had enough time to loot.
Now, like I said, kind of this phase on circle is very tricky because it occupies the 3 areas of SANHOK, right? So when you're looking at positioning, T1 and Bootcamp is kind of great because Bootcamp is central to phase 1, but you kind of don't really have that much information of what's going on around you. When you're looking at the triangular spot on the southwest island, that's probably the most accessible area, but no team is yet to go there. But now as you do see Pai Nan, what was 2 squads is quickly becoming 3 as TSM Entity, who had a tough, rough 3 games so far in the Super Weekend, might try to kick things off in this 4th game and get a 3rd-party action.
TSM Entity, they want a piece of that cake over here, and Pai Nan, they're going for the push. 2 split across that river, which I do like is a really interesting approach, but RRQ Athena, they're going to have to start being careful about what's happening behind them, and I think they are definitely hearing it. D2E is going to be getting that information. Neo is going to be the first man to get over there, and here it is. That's going to be Z-God of TSM Entity getting an initial knock onto D2E, and that's going to be now forcing RRQ to be very careful on all fronts of this fight. They've got to be careful up north, they've got to be careful down south. They are so far in a really scary position.
Now, if this kill is confirmed, that does put RRQ with 3 players up, as Neo going to look to cook the grenade. You do have Z-God in front of him, providing that level of cover. RRQ at least know roughly whereabouts the couple of members of TSM Entity are, but as they look to flank around Z-God, Maybe trying to find Beer inside the building. Play free fire coming through, but clutch god onto Beer and G9 back on over to Z-God. But Neo also gets dropped down by Ernie. It's going to be a double knockdown as Jonathan is going to be left standing for TSM.
TSM Entity had the advantage in that one, going for the third party, and a team that had already one member knocked away. G9 is going to go for the push right now. Jonathan is left alone. He's looking for potentially a few flushes, but G9's got to get back on over. Beer 11 going to get res back up by Ernie, and now they are back full force into this one. Our Synergy, they're like, that's a lot of shots, that's a lot of action. We're just going to go on the other side of the river and wait for the action to unfold.
Yeah, like here's the thing, you know, the Synergy are looking in the kill feed going, okay, you take that one. You take that one, you take that, take each other out. I don't care. We'll come in third party, and that's really great, accurate, clever play coming out from Synergy. Why join in on a fight when you technically don't need to?
Exactly. Like phase one, you know that if you can avoid it, that would be the better course of action. Bear gets the nice angle as the AK connects the kill. That's already 3 going over to RRQ Athena, and it's still remaining as a full squad. Like, that is mental. They were sandwiched up, already had one member knocked away, getting fully pushed by TSM Entity, and yet they are completely unharmed.
When you're looking at TSM and how they went in on that engagement, it was a great initial knock on the G9, but what lost it for me was that the fact that they kind of went in with very minimalistic information, so they got caught out and they got surprised.
Now Jonathan, he's just going to take his time, stay behind that wall, behind the bridge. And I think that they are definitely regretting their decision to go over here, so maybe it might not be happening on the other SANHOK games for them. But, well, Austin going for a little bit of a peak angle on the top of the roof there. Could be looking for a few nice shots, but will not be able to get anything done right now. So we're going to be focusing a little bit more on what's happening in the circle right now. A few teams, and especially one team in particular that I like their rotation, that's Valdez. You talked about it, right? T1 in boot camp, they got a nice central position. Yep. Valdez, they understood the value of that position, so they're going to try and potentially claim the higher northern position of boot camp.
It's a really great position because should the circle shift on over to the west, they can at least maybe capture a couple of teams out rotating over there. And if it shifts on over to the east, it's going to be the same situation for them, and it gives them a lot more information compared to where T1 currently are located. Now, Team IND, they're sticking to the high ground on that northwest island, which they do land around, they do know and love, and Orange Rock are down below them in between BTR and Team IND.
Jonathan, his heart must be beating right now, but if you want to do an insane play, a 1v4 clutch would definitely do the trick. G9 Beer both in a similar position. They're currently looking down south because they know that Synergy potentially moved a little bit further away, as we have a little bit of a replay popping up on our screens. That was a push off TSM, so they had a really good initial knockdown, but then that backstab from Ernie, they have no idea whatsoever. And the fact that they pushed out of the building, that's already caused their downfall.
Like, I respect the team going in aggressively, but when you have minimalistic information, there is that risk, and they pay the price. But now RRQ will be aware of the fact that there is still one member of TSM around there. The pre-fire shots are coming through, but Jonathan drops Ernie to the floor, confirms the kill, but Beer climbing through. A glimmer of health, a glimmer of hope for Jonathan as he tries to dodge around the bullets. The shots come through, the jump shot is accurate. Beer knocks down, confirms, and wipes TSM Entity.
Too soon, TSM taken out in 16th. Definitely not the performances they've been looking for today. Well, you still got 2 more, so hopefully they'll be able to get a little bit of a better result into this. But now we are going to be continuing, pushing on forward. Synergy, they now want to get involved. They saw the kill feed. They know that now one team was completely swiped off the board, and they want to try and get himself a little bit involved on RRQ Athena. But they took really not much of a, too much damage from that. They only lost 1 member. This is still going to be a pretty even fight at the end of the board. I do think
Synergy lost their opportunity to engage and get a third party, whereas I feel like they should have disengaged away completely.
Leave Pai Nan.
And leave Pai Nan. But now, because No Chance team are actually coming in from the hill up above, they can third party.
Calaris, this man always calls circle shifts coming out. You know what? He's coming slowly. He's looking at us like he's got a little smirk. He's pretty happy, but might be a mountaintop finish over here happening if it does shift once again up north over to the western side. And this man is evil. He's Illuminati.
They say not to meet your heroes, and I've always been a huge admirer of Calaris from the first time I met him last year when we were in Kiev. And he was such a nice guy. I was like, okay, this guy's cool. I was like, really looking forward to meeting him. But then within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, he's a monster. Either way,
simp imperium right there.
I was simping for a little bit, but then, you know, it was kind of anti-simping. But anyway, this game goes on. No Chance team will have to move up north because the circle shift did go up north, and this could be the prime time for them to actually go onto that triangle position on the southwest island.
One team that might be able to do that actually first would be Team ID. They're very close. They're slowly trying to put their eggs in different baskets. They've got, you know, already one player on the top of the mountain just in case it does go for that hardship up north.